Now, what I'd like to do is show you something really amazing. We're going to press the escape button right here, and we're going to leave access, the menu. We're going to leave all this for a moment, and we're going to go to DOS. This is what DOS looks like. You end up with a prompt, and it'll tell you what directory you're in. You are in the XX directory. Okay, you change directory by saying CD for change directory, ... and it'll take you back to the root directory, which is the C drive. Okay, now what do we mean by directories and all that? Well, try to remember in Windows the drive letters and remember all the different folders that you had. The XX is a folder, okay, and we're changing back. We're going up a level to the C drive. This is the C drive. If I type the letters DIR for directory, it will give me a list of everything in the directory. And you see, I have quite a long list. You can also say dir/W, which means show me the directory wide. Show it wide. Well, when you do that, instead of a list, you get everything spread out. But you notice it didn't have everything. It still filled up the page and then some. And if you want to look for something, you should type dir/W/P, because you want to look at the directory, everything in the directory wide, and you want to pause it after each page. So see what happens when I press the return key. It shows one page where you can look for a particular file. Okay, let me say this. You can identify a file because all of these are files, and you'll notice a period in there, or like we say dot, like this says 10 frame .bat. Okay, so those are files. Okay, now these are folders. If they're in brackets, then they are folders. Okay, these are the folders that the games are in. And you see how it says press any key to continue. If I press the return key or the enter button, then it will show me another page of files or folders in the directory. You see how many games there actually are in this? It loaded like 3 whole pages, 3.5 whole pages. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot of games. Now, what I want to show you and remind you of in this is that the CD drive is the R drive. On most of these game machines, it's going to be the R drive. Now, I'll show you what I mean by that. I've got a disk right here. It says it's filled with games. We're going to take a look at it. So anyway, we put the CD into the R drive, and in order to see what's on that CD, we can type the letter R and a colon so that your screen will look like this, and you press the enter button and it changes to the R drive. If you don't have a CD in the drive, it may not switch to the R drive. Now remember what I said, you type DIR, you can see what's in the drive. Well, we have these files in there, and it's a long list. Therefore, we need to type dir/W so we can see them across the screen, and we have a group of files like this. And you see we have a couple of folders, 2 folders. Well, there's 3. There's one called DOS, one called Bonus, one called NeoBook. Now, the instructions on the disk said for DOS users, you should type, let me see what it says again. Let me pull it out. You can do that. Okay, it says on here, DOS users run start.exe. Okay, that's pretty simple. Now, in this group of files, do we see start.exe? Yeah, there it is. There's start.exe. To run a program like this, an exe file or a BAT file, you type the name of the file without the file extension. Like here, you would type the word start. They did this pretty commonly back in these days. They tried to make it easy for everybody by just using the word start, because that's pretty common sense. But you'd be surprised some of these companies did not do this. You type the word start, you press the enter button, and the program begins running. My cat is playing with my cam wire, of course. And everything is not all that readable with this is a great webcam, but this is an old computer we're dealing with here, so we're going to see what we got. Now this CD is basically from a magazine, and I'm looking on here to see if there's any games that I can add. Business shareware, Windows shareware, utilities. I don't see any games on here, unfortunately. I can click on business shareware and see what it gives me. It's not showing me much of anything here. So this was a waste of my time. The icons are not showing up. Things aren't being translated correctly. So it would be best if it was running in Windows. So that's an example of not being able to put your disk, your games or whatnot, onto the hard drive. I've got a game here called Circuit Racer. It says all kinds of things. System requirements. Minimum system requirements are 486 processor, 4 megabytes of RAM, 7 megabytes of free hard drive space. This ought to work. It ought to work. I can read the book and see how to install it. Or I can hit dir/W and see if there's anything that's common sense. But also it says here, type install and press enter. Am I right? Install? Yep. Install exe, and it's got a setup exe. You see, that could have been controversial, you know, had you jumped in without reading the book. The book says install exe. So I'll type install. Install, set destination directory, abandon, select an option. It says down here that destination directory is going to be the C drive, and the folder is going to be called CR, as in Circuit Racer. That's important. When you are installing a game, there are so many folders on there. I showed you that there are so many folders on there, it's easy to get confused. So you must remember the name of the folder it's going to go to. You have to remember it so that you can include it on your big game menu that we talked about at the beginning. So this one's going to go to a directory called CR, a folder called CR. So we can choose install up here. It also says set destination directory or abandon, like exit. Okay, so we're going to install by pressing the enter button. And it's running the files that I saw a little while ago. It's installing everything. Some of these games may require joysticks, steering wheels, things of that nature, and you just have to test the game when you get it. You know, you might come up with an old game from somewhere, like these are all old. Someone gave them to me in an old cardboard box, and I'm checking them out. It says at the top, type CR to play Circuit Racer. That's important too. We're in the folder called CR, and we've got to remember that to run the game, we have to type the letter CR. Keep that in mind because that's cr.exe or cr.bat. And we're going to be looking for it here in a little while to add it to our game menu. So I typed the letter CR, and I'm going to hit enter to see if the game will run. It says here that there is no sound card, so we can skip that. Or maybe we can choose a sound card. Maybe it'll let us choose. It has a long list of sound cards that could be listed if we had a sound card that would work. I don't even know the name of the sound card that's in it. It's in the motherboard, so we can choose one, or maybe no sound card. That way, it might use the PC speaker. Modem strings, accept settings and exit. Let's just accept the settings and exit. It seems like it's going to run. That would be nice. Normally there would be music playing. Circuit Racer. Okay, new race, multiplayer race, setup, or quit. Let's choose setup real quick. Sound options. Music volume, effects volume, jukebox. Or exit that. Let's just go with the new race. Let's see if it'll work. A single race or practice. And it seems like this game will go. Normally when I'm testing a game, I would just reach this point and then I would try to exit because pretty much it's gonna run. It's showing different tracks here. I'm pressing the up and down button. It says amateur, pro, beginner. It's listing different courses: the Grand Canyon, the Tomahawk, Twin Lakes, No Man's Land. I don't know. I'd like to have an easy one. I'm terrible at these games. That one there looks kind of square. It looks like it's in a city, Indiana. So we'll go with that, beginner. Okay, I guess we get to choose a race car. We'll go with that. I'm just pressing the enter button to get through these. Now I have to guess how to start. Okay, that's the up arrow button I'm pressing right now. Darn, I don't have sound. That kind of sucks. I'm hitting the right arrow key and it's barely staying on the track. It kind of bounces around a little bit. Oh, I try to slow down by letting off of the arrow button. You know what? It's going pretty much by itself without me even hitting the arrow button to go forward. It might be idling. Game over that fast, huh? Timeout? Wow. Okay then. I hit the exit button or the escape key. I'll go down here to quit. I'm pretty sure that one there is going to work. So we now have Circuit Racer installed. That was easy. Hit the escape button again. It says Circuit Racer version 1.0 up there. Now we want to add this game to our menu so that we can select it from the menu. I'm going to remove the CD because we have installed this to the hard drive already, just to let you know. Now again, at this DOS prompt, it shows that it's in a folder called CR for Circuit Racer. To get out of that, we say change directory, ... and it goes back to the C drive. Now, you remember when we got out of the menu earlier, we were in a folder called XX. So if we change directory, spacebar, XX, it'll put us in that folder, XX. And if you type the letters XX again, it'll run a program called XX, which is the name of our game program, the menu. Also, if you wanted to, you could just turn off the computer, turn it back on again, and it would do this same thing. It would end up going to the game menu. Okay, now that we were in the folder called CR, and we want to add, we're going to add a game called Circuit Racer. Right now, the only CR or C letters we have are these right here listed. Wow, it's so slow. The monitor is so slow that you see the bands going up and down. That's cool. That's funny. That's how old it is. But it still works pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to add Circuit Racer, the game Circuit Racer, to our menu. And the way we do that is we press the F2 button for add, and it asks us whether we want to add a group or a program. We want to add a program. A game is a program, not a group of games, or a group like games or office. Another thing over here we want to add to over here, so we say program. And the name of the game is Circuit Racer, so we type Circuit Racer here. We want it in all caps probably to match what we've already got on the menu. And we tab down to the path and file name. Now we remember that we have it's on the C drive, and it's in a folder called CR, and the game is going to be cr.exe or cr.bat batch. Okay, so it's going to be one of those. Now we could have looked it up earlier and written it down. That would have been the best way to do it, but we can also click here on directory and find it. Remember, it's going to be under CR. Now this down arrow thing on this menu doesn't work all that good, so you can press the down arrow here on the keyboard. We're looking for CR for Circuit Racer, and the only one here is Crates, but we can continue to scroll down, and maybe it's been added at the bottom. Let's see. Okay. You see, Access will automatically group these files and new ones in here. There it is. There's CR right there. And I hit the return key, and there's cr.exe right there. And I hit the return key or enter button right there, and it includes it right there. So you can see the path is cr:/cr/cr.exe. I'm sorry, there's static, but that's the way it's showing up because of the old monitor I'm using. So then you can click the OK, and it's added right there. We now have the game Circuit Racer added right in there. So to play Circuit Racer, you can just click on it or hit the enter button, and it'll go. just like it was before. Circuit Racer. And we can play it. But for now, we'll just go ahead and quit because we saw earlier that it will play. And that's how you add a new game to the game machine.